Okay. Happy Wednesday, everyone. My name is Tamika Bell, and I want to welcome you all to our film information session today. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to our director, Sandy Michael McDonald. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Tamika, and good morning to everyone. Again, this is another one of our workshops, but I'll say it's the first workshop we've done as an office relevant to film. So we're going to give you a little background. You know our office, the Office of Economic Small Business Development. You can move to the next slide. You know the things that we do, we're responsible for. Some of you may not know, because that's another reason we're doing the workshop today. So let me back that up. Small business focused organization on behalf of the county. We promote growth and job creation. We're primarily a service office, which means the county has a program that for all the things the county buys, we have a chance to see if there are small business opportunities. And because of that, we assure small businesses can participate in county procurement. So that's the gist of what we do on a daily basis. We have an economic development division that works with the 31 cities, work with the public-private partner. We try to retain and expand existing businesses in Broward while recruiting in target industries new businesses to move to Broward. So as the name says, the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, that's our day job, but we don't act like we do it all ourselves. We do a great deal of this with community partners. So again, if you're new to the office, you have the opportunity to call us, schedule an appointment, do a virtual call or do a phone conference, and we'll tell you all the things we do. But today, we want to focus on the opportunities of you getting to understand a little bit about the film industry, which has been moved into our office. Next slide, and the opportunities you may have down the road. So again, as mentioned, our primary services across the board for the office, film, which is new as of January of this year, small business development, which I just described, economic development and international trade. Hopefully at the end, there's a slide about FITCE, Florida International Trade and Cultural Expo. That's a huge expo we do every year to try to familiarize the business community, especially the small business community who are interested in international trade, who's interested in exporting, who wants to know more about how to get involved in that regard. And also we're here today because of community relations and outreach. They make sure that as much of our information for what we do, what we're responsible for, finds its way to the business community, finds its way in support through the cities, through the chambers, through other economic development organizations, to aspiring entrepreneurs. Outreach tries to make sure that everything that happens in this office finds its way to the small business community. Next slide. So what I want to do as I get ready to introduce you to the film team, and I think we're going to be doing some tag teaming here today. I'll say a little, they'll say a little, then we'll go back and forth. Just keep this in mind before I introduce you to our film commissioner. The goal of the day is to make sure that because some of you are new, you traditionally would not get certified. When I'm doing small business presentations, I often say the county buys a lot. We don't buy everything. And I got to change that. I probably got to say the county buys a lot. We don't buy everything. But these days, we're even buying more. And that's what you're going to hear about from our film team. We want to start making sure that the business community is aware that there may be some opportunities for you to participate in film. And that's what this workshop is about. The non-traditional certified firms, the firms who normally might not knock on my door, making sure you now know that as we try to grow film in Broward County, there may be job business opportunities for you. That's today's forum. So one piece of housekeeping before I turn you over to Sandy L. is that if you have a question, and we will address questions at the end, put your questions in the Q&A. This is about following instructions. Put your questions in the Q&A. But we always believe you need to give yourself a shout out. Staff will from time to time give you extra information in the chat, but the chat is also a way for you to let folks know that you're here. If I was doing a live face-to-face meet and greet or workshop, I always remind small businesses, though you might come for the presentation, though you might come for the key speakers, never forget someone to your right or to your left, someone in front of you or in back of you might need your services, or they might be someone that you need their services. So even though we're virtual, do not forget to give yourself a shout out in that chat. And guys, I'm excited. There's over 130 of us right now, and that's going to be growing. So again, if you know what you do better than I do, this is a chance to make sure others at least know who you are. And that's where we're going to begin a lot of conversations. So in the end, questions at the end. But if you have some, as we do the presentation, stick them in the Q&A. Give yourself a shout out in the chat. But right now, Sandy L., our film commissioner, will take it from here. Sandy?
Thank you, Sandy M. Good morning, everybody. So glad that so many people have come to this this workshop. Really excited about it. First, I wanted to actually introduce my team because I can't do this alone. It's a team effort. And Christy Andrioni, who is my film specialist, who handles a lot of things, but including film permits, film permitting, as well as a number of other duties that are assigned By right
Hi,
hand.
everybody. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone.
And I'm Denise Simmons, who is our administrative film specialist, but that doesn't really say it all about Denise, because she's not just admin. She does marketing, she does her social media, and she's overall we couldn't do it without the three-legged stool here. So I will say that. Is there another slide, Tamika, maybe? Okay, there we go. So before I tell you a little bit about Film Lauderdale, that we've now rebranded the Film Commission, the Broward Film Commission, as Film Lauderdale, tell you, a little bit about, a little bit about me, if you don't know who I am. I came to Broward County in January from Miami-Dade County. I was a Miami-Dade County Film Commissioner for 14 years. And prior to that, for many years, I'm not going to say how many, but for many years, I was a television and film producer in the industry. So I come from the industry, but came into government, and those two melded together really work well for attracting production here. So Film Lauderdale is our new branding for the office. It does not exclude our communities. We need something that's recognizable, so that out in the global Hollywood, we will be recognized. But trust me when I say that when we're looking to bring production here, and we already are, that this is spread amongst all the municipalities, and it's spread in literally through most of the municipalities we have permitted for. So that's what makes it really exciting, because all of you as business people are not, are located throughout the county and our municipalities. So, our mission is to attract film and television production to Broward County. And to do that, and how we do that is interesting. Some of it is relationships that I've had in the past. As a producer or as a film commissioner in Miami-Dade County. It is also, we seek out leads as well. And from my going and meeting people at events, whether it be in Florida or outside of the state, in the United States or internationally. Our goal is to bring as much production as we can here, because there's a lot of money is spent into the community and into small businesses like yours. So we are also a different kind of film commission than a lot. This is how I run my film commissions, and that is we are a full concierge service. And that means, myself and my team, we hold the production's hand from beginning to end. If they need something, we're there for them. We're actually there for them 24/7. Even if we can't answer a question, if it's on the weekend, we answer the phone and say, we'll get to it the first minute that we can get to somebody that will be able to give us the answer to that question. And of course, if we answer it, we can answer it. One of our, the main goal, one of the main things we have to do in this office is film permits. And we permit currently for 26 of the 31 municipalities, looking to bring a couple of more on. And we have now really streamlined that process. We've actually reached out to all the municipalities, and we're going to continue our relationships with those municipalities, because again, the filming happens in municipalities. There's very little unincorporated Broward County for there to be any filming in. It happens sometimes, but mostly it's in the municipalities. So we permit for those municipalities. We are working with the municipalities on hopefully streamlining some of their processes to make themselves more film friendly. And we're also have coming online very soon. We're working on it. We're working with a company to bring a brand new film permitting system that will make it much easier for not only for our client as an end user, but also for our municipalities as well, because the quicker that we can get the answers to the questions for those film permits from those municipalities, that the faster they get a permit, the happier they are. And we want to keep them happy, and we want repeat business. That's our intention. So if you don't know about, this industry, requires at this point, there's in the business plan of film, television, sometimes in commercials, and even sometimes it's still photo shoots, there is basically a line item for incentives. And that becomes part of the financial aspect of where a production will decide where they go. And a script doesn't necessarily determine where it goes. So if something is written for Fort Lauderdale or South Florida, because if we don't have an incentive, and Georgia does, and they have, 2 miles of beach that can replicate something that looks like, South Florida, then they will go there because they basically receive money, in return for bringing, millions of dollars into their community. So for us to be able to stay competitive, we have, not only South Florida, but in the state, we've had to enact local incentive programs because the state of Florida does not have an incentive program anymore. The state had an incentive program from 2010, sunsetted in 2016, but because of circumstances ran out of it, was a tax credit program, ran out of tax credits in 2013. So since then we've lost a lot of our infrastructure, and that's why we were talking to you today a bit. And we've lost a lot of crew because they've gone where the work is. And the intention for us now is to then bring that work back with a local incentive program. And actually we have multiple local incentive programs that are intended to bring the production back. And I'm just going to go back to something how I kind of explain to those who don't understand why there's incentives. I just say, if you're going to one grocery store and there's a sale, or you're going to Publix, let's say, and there's buy one, get one of the same item you're looking for, you're going to the buy one, get one. And that's kind of the same, theory that happens with our industry. So they go where they get the best, return for their investment as a production. So we launched an incentive program on June 7th. That was, I can go into it a little bit. It's basically a minimum spend of $400,000, 15% rebate up to $175,000 back. And a rebate, but the requirements are that 60% of the production has to be shot in Broward County. 55% of the main cast and crew have to be between Miami-Dade and Broward. And that is because, actually, I wanted you to go back to the other slide, Tamika, if you don't mind, because I'm still not finished with that one. That's because we don't have enough crew here yet. We're developing our crew base, and we intend for that percentage to go up every year for the requirement of being Broward until we get 55%. That is total Broward residents. 50% of the vendors have to be Broward County vendors. So that's small businesses, but very importantly, 15% of that 50 have to be basically registered with this office, with the Office of Economic and Small Business Development, and go through their process of registering, because that 15% has to come from that list. And that's where all of you come in, because that's why we want you to sign up, because we're needing businesses in, to be hired. And if you're in, if for example, they need to, buy greenery from a nursery, and you're in that, have signed up as a business, then you're going to reap that benefit, because there's a very short list right now. We actually, in the list for small businesses, we don't have a lot of our industry's businesses in there. So that's why we're going to encourage you to sign up for the small business program, so that you can be listed in there. And then that becomes the go-to list for our productions to hire that 15% of that 50 plus the 50%, the other half, the other 35%. So that's kind of where the opportunities are for you. You can go to the next slide, Kamika, now, because I just want to make sure I did that. So, this is currently, kind of what we have in the state of Florida. You could say, back in 2013, 2014, this was probably a triple this. So that's where we are currently. The one thing I will tell you that has changed in a different way, is gone from lower to higher, is the average annual wage. That wage, the $91,322, is not measured by us, but that's measured by the state of Florida. That's the median average wage. So you can make a lot of money in this industry as a crew member. Businesses can make a lot of money. A feature film can come into a community and in a day spend $150,000 into that community. If TV series, they spend, on the minimum $3 million an episode, right? So, take away $1 million possibly for, top tier talent, and that's $2 million in 10 days that they're spending in our area. So that is that, and that, requires a lot of equipment, that requires, a lot of different businesses to be involved. And that's where you come in. Next slide. Here we go. So this is one of our favorites, because this kind of shows you kind of the feeder bands of the indirect jobs that are created. And as you see, payroll, accountants, real estate. I mean, there's so many different areas that this industry, and I say we because I'm still feeling a part of the industry because I represent it, that we touch on, and not touch on, but not we that are hired, that money goes into. So it is definitely a great economic impact to all of these indirect companies, but those indirect companies actually become direct companies that feed into being hired by a production. And the next slide. Okay, now I go back to Sandy M.
Okay, back our way. So guys, you heard Sandy L speaking, and she was sharing about the production directory, and she was also talking about my small business directory. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit more in case you're brand new to us about the small business program. So small business development is the activity, is one of the major activities of this office. And we do have a small business program, SBE and CBE, small business enterprise, CBE, county business enterprise. Our team does certifications. We walk you through the process. There's a myriad of ways we help you get certified. If you're sharp enough, you can simply go to my website. There's an online application. You can read the application, but before you complete the application, you can even watch a video, and it'll take you line by line by line. And if you're comfortable and you got the backup documentation, fill out the application. You can check my events calendar, like every 2 or 3 months. We do a technical assistance training where someone, a human voice, will walk you through every line by line by line to show you how to complete the application. So the small business development side of the office, we're really about certification. We're really about compliance. We work with all the county agencies before a bid ever happens to take a peek to see if there's an opportunity based on the act, Business Opportunity Act, to set a goal of at least 25%. Real clear. The county buys $1 billion with a B of goods, materials, and services every year. We have an opportunity to make sure, or at least see, if at least 25% of that billion can be spent with small businesses. So in addition to film, we want to make sure you understand our program. And again, we buy a lot. We don't buy everything, but we're starting to buy even more with film. But if you qualify for the traditional program based on what any county agency buys, airport, seaport, which is Port Everglades, Convention and Visitors Bureau, courthouse, libraries, Parks and Rec, Broward County Transit, roads and highway, government east, government west. Once again, we buy a lot. We have a process on the small business development side that can help you be a part of these competitive procurements. Next slide. The Business Opportunity Act is what I was referencing, and it actually is established in short terms. Whatever the county buys, we take a peek. And if we have the businesses, at least 25% of any and everything the county buys, we try to assure small businesses can participate. Next slide. You heard me mention eligibility. This is our program. SBEs are the smallest of my small businesses. Whenever the county buys something between 100 grand and 250,000, my staff has the opportunity that based on the agency, whatever it is, good, service, product, material, whatever it is, our staff get to look in the directory. And the ordinance says if I have at least 2 businesses that can provide that good material, service, or product, we can shelter it. So SBEs are my smallest of small businesses. The personal net worth is about 1.32 million or less. We don't count your primary residence, but it's a business that normally averages $3 million or less over 3 years in construction, $1 million or less over 3 years in contractual services, and $500,000 or less over 3 years in professional consulting services. If that sounds like you and you did one of those online applications, we would certify you as an SBE. But for the things we buy, $250,000 or more, including the expansion of the convention center, and now this $700 million Four Diamond Omni Hotel that we're building to connect to the convention center. Just as an example, that project, this is where my CBEs fall in. So if you are a CBE, you would be someone who, once again, your personal net worth is 1.32 million or less, not counting your primary residence. But as a business, for most industries, your businesses, your company's gross receipts average $5 million or less over 3 years. And if you're in construction, $9 million or less over 3 years. And then that's when we get to set those goals. But understand this about CBE. Though we often talk about the big tickets like the convention center, we're getting ready to do the supervisor of election building, major highway projects. Please remember, anything the county buys, we get to peak. So our human resource department buys a lot of consulting services for folks who train in leadership development, peer development. They do that type of consulting. Even that office of the county has a goal that for all the training and leadership development and all the agencies, whenever they want to hire a consultant to do a training or to do a workshop or to do a retreat, 25% of whatever that agency spends, they must spend with my small business consultants. So once again, we talk a lot about the big ticket construction and highway stuff, but the program is for anything the county buys across the board. Next slide. So how the SBE program works is what I really just described in terms of 250,000 down to 100. We take a quick look. If I got at least 2, we can then sheltered market it, which means the first, second, and third option is going to my little guys. If at the end of the day, my little guys can't do it, or they don't respond, or they're not found responsive and responsible, then the larger firms have a chance to participate. But be crystal clear. The original aim and goal is for my small businesses to have the first, second, and third bite at this apple. Next slide. CBE, as I mentioned, the only thing that I'll add to this is that, yes, we set goals. That convention center expansion, it had a 30% goal. They achieved 32. That new hotel being built, it has a 25% goal. We're getting ready to move forward. The supervisor of election, brand new construction, it has a 30% goal. So we do set goals based on having the small businesses, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, painting, roofing, anything it needs to make that bid or make that construction happen, we can look to our small businesses. But with that being said, you see that other word, reserve. That means this office also has the opportunity that if we see a $2, $3, $4, $5 million bid, and we look in the directory, and it shows that we got 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 firms who are CBE that can do all the work, I don't have to set a goal. We get to reserve it. I can take that $5 million contract and say, hey, I want this to go to a CBE. A CBE reserve means that we're declaring that all the work must be done by a CBE. But keep in mind, a CBE can say, Mr. McDonald, I can do 70% of that job, so I'm a bid this. The other 30%, he can pick other CBEs. 1 to do 30%, 2 to do 15%, 3 to do 10. We don't care. It's just that the job, we believe, can be controlled and managed by a CBE. That CBE has the opportunity to do all the work, or that CBE has a chance to use other CBEs. So that's the other upside to the CBE program. We don't just set goals. From time to time, we can really help small businesses grow, that instead of being a 25% goal on 5 million, would you not, as a CBE, want to win the entire $5 million contract? That's the key to the reserve program. Next slide. So just talked about reserve, so let's go to the next slide on that one. But first things that you have to do, first thing all of you should do, even with Sandy L and where we going with film. Guys and girls, for free, see that box? For free. Register to be a county vendor. You should just go into the system that the county used as a platform for bids, which is formerly known as BidSync, is now known as Periscope S2G. You should just go into the system, register your business this way. Any kind of bid that comes out that speaks to the NAICE code, the North American Index Code, or speaks to the NIGP code, the procurement code, or speaks to the words that what it is that you say you do. If the county and its agencies bid anything, you'll at least be notified. So before you ever consider being certified with me, before you ever even get in my directory, anyone wanting to do business with Broward County should be a registered vendor, and again, is free. Now, we keep putting emphasis on free because it really is free, but we're using a platform that's international, and they would love to sell you other bids in Tennessee. For all I know, they want to tell you about bids in Hong Kong, California, New Mexico, Israel. Hey, BidSync, which is now Periscope, is a platform that sells itself on introducing the small businesses bidding opportunities. If you want to know what Broward County is buying, you can register for free. They're going to send you 2 minutes after you register for free. For the low, low price, $799. Find out what the bids are in Texas, California, and Mississippi. Hey, if you want to find out what the bids are in Texas, California, and Mississippi, buy it. But be crystal clear. You don't have to pay if you want to know Broward County bids. But that is the platform that we use. So I want to be crystal clear. Click the free box if you want our information as a county. Next slide. And as we go back to Sandy, this is getting ready to be Sandy L. I just want to reemphasize something she said, but it aligns with the program that I'm describing. That's us. Guys, we get excited about giving you this information. It is an ordinance, which is a law. You need to know I got workshops, but I also got information on our website. Small businesses are winning. So I don't want to fake that. I don't want you to miss that. I've been here since 2013. It's now 2022. And even just on open contracts, not closed, those that are open, staff ran the numbers. We've paid over $800 million to small businesses in Broward County from 2013 to now. And those are just the projects that are still open and going. That's not even adding the ones that are closed, where small businesses did get paid. I'm saying that because the opportunities are real. But I also remind small businesses in our entrepreneur workshops and my other workshops, folks, it's no different than private industry. It's work. You have to make a commitment. It is competitive. I never promise you you can ever win. I can't make that promise. I'm not purchasing. But I promise and I assure you, we give you enough information that if you're willing to do your part, you will win some county contracts. I'm saying that because as we build, as you heard Sandy L earlier, as we build the foundation, as we create the additional crews, as we know that we have businesses here that would offer the industry who wants to come here opportunities to do so and get crews and get businesses from here, as we do that, you still need to know it's competitive. So I would not want anyone to leave here today saying, because I attended this workshop, I'm going to get a bid in the next film production on December the 12th. Don't say it. I don't let my small businesses say it. What you should say is by attending this workshop, you're beginning to understand the process and the program, and you're beginning to put together your strategy if it's your intentions to participate in more opportunities. Government contracting is nothing for small business than another opportunity to expound on what a business is already doing. If you're on this call today, you're already a business. Congratulations. I hope you're successful. What we're sharing, we're not selling nothing. What we're sharing is another opportunity for you to decide if your business can competitively compete in this process. And specifically film related, we need to grow more of those businesses so Sandy L and her team can attract more production. It is about the chicken or the egg. We know that you saying, well, hey, we hope y'all got some opportunities. That's the only reason I should get certified or register. And we know industry is over here telling us, hey, I don't know if I want to come there unless y'all got the people. It's the chicken or the egg, chicken and the egg. Our job is to try to do both simultaneously. So this is why we're doing the workshop. Sandy L wants to make you know that there's some opportunities now, but there'll be far greater opportunities if she can build this massive group of businesses. And she's also telling the industry, we have some businesses now, but the more of y'all can get to come, we can create more businesses. So that's it for me. Sandy L, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Sandy M. I did want to clarify something. So that is what Sandy was talking about. So there are different directories, right? So there is a directory for the small business area that Sandy M was talking about, but there's also a production directory, which is on the filmlauderdale.org website that I think was put into the chat. And that is where small businesses can sign up in different categories if you fit in a category. For example, the greens or nurseries. I mean, that we have all these categories that need to be filled with businesses in there. So that's a great opportunity for you right off the bat, for you to be noticed from our, when production comes in here, they look for the production directory, they look towards the local production directory. And the more businesses we have, the more crew that we have in, then that actually makes us more attractive as an area. So
and let me add to that, and then I'll go away again. To Sandy L's point, certified or not, if you are a business right now in Broward, congratulations. If this sounds like something you're interested in, you want to just be added to her production directory as soon as possible. You can check me and all this other stuff out whenever you're ready, but she's saying here's an invitation for us to start populating who's in our area that can provide these services based on all the different categories.
Thank you, Sandy. So, and let me sort of kind of marry it together so you understand where we're going to go from here. And there's a couple of other things I want to mention that I didn't mention before, but let me come back to the fact that, as small businesses, for example, if you're a restaurant and there is catering on set, we want to eventually have workshops that will marry you with a caterer that's going to tell you how to become how to have a restaurant become a caterer for the industry, because it is specialized. If you're have a beauty salon, or you're in the beauty industry, or in wardrobe, how that translates into to being on set, and hopefully having workshops so you understand how you can train to be able to come into this industry, because it's not automatics. Some things are. I mean, carpentry is carpentry, but carpentry actually in the film industry is specific about how sets are built. Sets are built not to be permanent. So the sets are built to be there to be a temporary set and then to be dismantled easily. So there are, so I'm just kind of sort of giving you a couple of the different areas, but there's going back to the indirect job slide, that is actually all the industries that we need actually to be able to have into our directory. And we need to be able to find ways to cross-train you if you have not worked in the film industry. So by adding yourself to our directory, that'll help. So we'll recognize those. We'll see who's coming in. I know that there's been some, I think a film at filmlauderdale.org was put up as well. That's our email address, so that if you have questions, and just note that we're still building. This is, we really are building this from the ground up. And so we want to have these workshops coming up in the future. The more interest that we have in a particular area, that's probably where we'll start. So if there's lots of restaurants, if there's lots of beauty salons, that's probably where we will start, going in that direction so that we can, cross-train as many people as possible in that particular sector. I'm hoping that people understand that. The one thing, besides, and you see the incentive program, the one that I spoke about is on the left side. The one on the right side, which, you might not know, but, we do compete with Georgia quite a bit, almost entirely. And Georgia, a lot of times throughout my career, production has said, if you only, when I was in Miami-Dade, if you only had something that was 50%, that we could shoot 50% and not, Miami-Dade was 70, we have 60%, but 50% we could come shoot there. So that's kind of an alternative to the other program. That's for those that are going to shoot more somewhere else. You get less of an incentive. But it does still have an incentive that's out there for them. We also have what we're working on currently, which is a stackable incentive with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. We haven't fleshed that out yet, but that's where that will mean that if a project will have to first qualify, coming through, applying for our incentive, being accepted into being able to be put in line to get that incentive. Of course, the incentives are all performance based, so you can't get a touch of money until you've met all the requirements, including all those that you see right now on the screen. Where was I going with that? So so that's a rebate, but I know I was going someplace else with that. The stackable incentives. So they have to qualify for ours, have a contract in place, and then have a product in the end. And during the beginning process, there'll be a negotiation about what they're bringing to the table that might work with the Convention and Visitor Bureau, whether it be hotel room nights, whether it be an influencer that's going to, that has, 100 million followers, that's going to say something about Fort Lauderdale, or if it's going to shooting, Broward, for Broward County, then there are opportunities to have more, an incentive on top of the incentive that we're offering here. And then we're also working on another program that we haven't fleshed out yet either, and that's for larger projects. That's to bring in television series, which is long-term job creation, and larger feature films. And that's we're working on that program as we speak. So that will be announced soon. So we have a lot of tools in our chest currently. Thankfully to Broward County and their support, the commission and the administration, the support of this industry. And, that's where all of you fall into place. One thing I did fail to mention is that I think as tomorrow, Soundstage Complex will they're going to sign the contract on land that a company called LA Center Stages from Los Angeles is going to be building 10 sound stages essentially located in the city of Fort Lauderdale. That is really important because there's not enough soundstage space in the world. That will put us on the map in regards to being able to have, soundstage space. Believe it or not, Miami does not have enough adequate soundstage space, neither does Palm Beach, and there's only a couple of other places in the state that have maybe LED walls, which is a new kind of a soundstage. But we would have the largest in the state of Florida for sure when it came to the amount of sound stages and support space and mill space and all of production offices that go with sound stages. Those sound stages will eventually be attracting production just by us having those sound stages. And they're, right now it's looking like probably not being up until maybe beginning of 2024. But let's first let them sign their contract and move along, and hopefully everything works the way it's supposed to work, and that moves forward. And let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I think that's it for me. Is there another slide? Or did we end on this one, Tamika? There we are. Sign up to. There's the production directory. So as you see, the payroll, we only have, we have very little in each category. That's why we need you to sign up. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is that if you don't feel comfortable signing up because you haven't, I don't feel you've been cross-trained enough, then talk to us about that. Get in touch with us, and we'll try to figure out if you fit in there yet or not, or you need to have cross training. Whether it be us introducing or us recommending other areas, and avenues for you to cross train. I think that's it. Christy, did I miss anything?
All sounds great. I'm not sure if there might be more slides for OESBD.
I don't know.
Oh, just our contact.
I think
Great.
it's us. There we are. Yeah.
Perfect.
Sandy M, do you want to come back?
Is it at me? Is it at me? What's the next
I
slide?
think that's it. I think that's you.
Oh, okay, yeah, I got a few more. So guys, you just saw Sandy and her team, Sandy L and her team's contact information. I don't want you to miss that. Matter of fact, Tamika, back up one so they can get that, take pictures or get all that. And I'm gonna keep talking about us. We want you to stay engaged with us. Our website, we actually do a Wednesday night newsletter. Sandy L and her team is also going to be doing the newsletter. There'll be times when we cross newsletters. She's going to have something that's so exciting that though she's going to be pushing that out to those in her arena, we're going to want to share it in ours. So stay engaged with us. Your businesses, you're busy. So I know you can't make all the workshops. So for the things we do, including this one today, give us a couple of days, Monday at the latest, it's going to be on our website. So those who missed it can hear it. And if you think you didn't hear something right, you can go back and check it out. Go ahead and move back to the next slide. So the stay engaged is an opportunity for us to tell you how to make sure, again, since Sandy L can't make those promises. Sandy M, I'm never going to make those promises. I can never promise. We can never promise that you're going to win. But guys, girls, hear me loud and clear. Go to my website. We share this information with businesses. We give businesses hot tips in my Wednesday night newsletter. We make sure businesses understand the program, the process, the people. Take that information, leverage that information, get competitive in the process, and be the names that we post. And you need to know this now. We're not shy. We post and list the name of the companies who are winning. We show the dollars that you're winning. That's not braggadocious, but it is. We need other businesses to know that we're not just running our mouths. Some business, mark this, and we'll mark this for a year from now. Some business who's on this workshop is going to listen. Some business is going to sign up on that production list. Some business may choose to get certified in our small business program because they heard Sandy mention that production just needs to know we got the folks. But when folks come here and they might want the incentive, they're then going to be required to use some of our folks. But you can be that business that's right here in the middle. You can be certified, but you can also just be in her production list. You're going to pay attention to what's being said. You're going to use the opportunity to expose yourself. And whether it's my side of the aisle or Sandy L's side of the aisle, you're going to follow some of the suggestions and the tips. And some business is going to win a contract. And again, we are assured of that. I just can never say who, but I can guarantee you they do. Why? Because the ordinance requires it. Sandy L will be the same down the road. Why? Her incentive ordinance will require, if they want Broward money on the small business side, 15% of what they do is going to be with my certified small businesses. But she also told you, it's just the idea from makeup to carpentry to barbers to catering to transportation services. It's just the fact that this is what they need. They don't all bring that with them wherever the directors and the producers are coming from. They need that foundation here. So I want to make sure some of the names, if I remove staff, I got about 162. If I remove staff, some of the businesses, 150 of you plus, some are really going to pay attention, dot the I's and cross the T's. And in one of my Wednesday night newsletter and one of Sandy's future newsletters, we go screen some names of people who were on sets, who provided a service, who won a contract. Again, our job is to make sure that there's genuine opportunity. So don't ever get it twisted. We never said you're going to win by name, by person. But I can tell you somebody in my directory is going to win. I can tell you multiple businesses in my directory and in Sandy's production directory are going to win. Why? Because we need your business. So let's make sure you are that person who simply says, I'm going to dot my I's, cross my T's. I'm going to make this happen for my company. That's what we're doing, guys. We're trying to make sure you recognize there's real opportunity. Okay, Tamika, any other side? Oh, Sandy L wants something.
Yeah, I
Sandy?
just wanted to say, also thought, we do a lot on social media. So if you follow us on Twitter or Facebook, it's Film Lauderdale, at Film Lauderdale or Film Lauderdale. So a lot of information we put out there currently until we get our newsletter up and running.
Oh, great. Staff is better than me. I mentioned Fitzy earlier. Some of you might be on this call and you want to know about international activity. We do a program called Broward. 11 Steps to Exporting, and we do another program that doing business with, and that's when we bring other countries in. But this is the culmination each year. Fitzy, Florida International Trade and Cultural Expo is our expo. We expect about 2,000 people in attendance. We'll have over 60 countries in attendance. And this is about folks based on your business who wants to do business internationally. So we use this big event to hype, promote, and demonstrate that international and global trade is really happening. But for the remainder of the year, our office works hand in hand with small businesses, teaching them how to engage international activity. Here's a number, guys. I know we're proud of America. I am too. I know sometimes you get disappointed, but at the end of the day, it's the best country. But did you know over 95% of the world's purchase is global? It's international. So we're doing a lot of buying. Sandy's talking about film buying. I'm talking about Broward County buying. Federal government even got their federal buying under SBA. We do a lot of buying. But guys, in the total world's marketplace, with America being a part of the total world's marketplace, 95% of all the goods that are procured, 95% of all the services that are provided, they're international. So that's why we spend so much time trying to make sure our local businesses understand it's great to do business with Broward. It's great to do business in South Florida. It's great to do business throughout the state of Florida, and it's great to do business in the United States. Yes, it is. Go get your money. But 95% of all of the procurement market is international. Why stop in Broward? Why stop in South Florida? Why stop in the state of Florida? Why stop in the US? So if you want to know about international, and oops, I forgot that key word again. That conference, free. Register, meet us at that conference, and then after that conference, check with this office and learn more about international trade if that's your interest. Next slide. Now we're at the Q&A. So we'll be engaging Tamika, whoever. Looks like I see a red number called 12 questions in Q&A. I'm sure none of the folks on this call put any questions in the chat. They're all in the Q&A. So Tamika, we'll follow your instructions to see how we want to address the questions. Oh, 12 just went to 13. And we'll address them. Oh, just went to 14. Let me shut up and let's get to the questions.
Tamika,
You're
on.
muted. You're
Yeah.
muted, Tamika.
You'll think after doing this several times, I would get it right. I'm a licensed master cosmetologist interested in branching into styling team in the film industry. What are the steps?
So as I think I mentioned, the steps would be, you need to kind of transfer your skills over. There is a transfer of skills. It's not exactly the same. A lot of it's the same, but it's at a different pace. It's at a different level, and not regards to, sometimes it's way quicker than you would be doing as a master cosmetologist, right? Or it could be slower depending on the director. So so you have to kind of learn the ins and outs of that. So there's a couple of things. There are actual schools that do teach how to transfer your skills into the industry, and we can certainly, if you email us, we can send you that way. But also, if we get enough interest in this particular area, then we're going to try to find, have a free workshop like this online that would, talk about how you transfer your skills over. So that's so the more that we, more interest that we get, the more that we will be able to have workshops like that. Hope that answered your question.
Thank you, Sandy. We have a question here from Margaret Anglin, who wants to know if we have a list of trades that we're looking for that she'll be able to access.
So that indirect jobs page that we had, that's the list of businesses right there. So if we want to email that to anybody, we can put it up and they can take a picture of it, you know, at the end, that would be good, because that's most of it.
Mika, can
All
you
right.
send that in the chat,
Absolutely, I will.
please? Thank you.
Sandy McDonald, I believe this will be for you. How can we certify and schedule a meeting to talk about certification?
Oh, real easy. You can just go to the website to read and learn more, but send an email to the office, to my attention, and Claire will schedule you a meeting with me. That can be a phone call, that can be a virtual, or that can actually be a face-to-face. smmcdonald@broward.org. I'll type that into the chat, my email address as well as the phone number. I'll type that in now.
All right. Judy wants to know, do home-based businesses qualify? And I'm not sure if she's talking about certification or just to participate in some of the film opportunities, but maybe we could speak to both.
Yeah, let me start on that one. We do not trump our cities, our small businesses. If the city, oh, that's a beautiful thing. So all of you can smile. I can't see your faces. So I just did this in a workshop face to face, but I told them, don't tell on themselves. If you are a business in Broward County, you have to have a city business license tax receipt. That means you're in one of my 31 cities or my incorporated areas. So you do know, to be a true business, you didn't just register in Sunbiz in Tallahassee. You must have a business license tax receipt from the city your business is in. That does lead to the question about home-based businesses. Some businesses, based on some cities, do allow home-based business. So if you got a business license tax receipt because the city you in said the business industry you're in, we allow home-based businesses, great. So when you come to get certified with me, that's a question we ask. I need to see your business license tax receipt. So if you have one from your city, I use that. Part two. Hey guys, if you're a business in Broward County, yes, you must have a business license tax receipt from the city you're in. But did you know you need to have a Broward County business license tax receipt? See, most of my businesses don't have that. Most work with cities, come to cities, go through cities programs, buy buildings, rent buildings, get their certificate of occupancy. After they pulled all their permits, they get their business license tax receipt in the city, and they never knew you needed one with the county. So from our shop, prior to certification, you would need a city business license tax receipt, and a couple of floors down in my building, you can get a Broward County business license tax receipt. And that's what you would need to get certified. Home-based businesses are allowed if your city allows it.
Okay, thank you. We have another question here from Shavas Davis. What is Broward County doing for the animation industry and how can they get involved?
Okay, so that's part of, that is certainly part of our plan, is to attract, you know, more animation studios. I'd love to know what they're doing. Are they in the space currently? Are they looking, you know, for opportunities in animation? You know, that would be my question to them. You know, part of what we want to do is to attract the businesses, for example, an animation company, to relocate here so that we can create jobs via that, you know, via that business, as well as production companies. So are we looking to that? Yes. Is that part of our, you know, our goals? Yes. Have we gotten there yet? No. We're still in the beginning stages, but we are working towards it. But I would love to know, you know, what if they want to write us at film@filmlauderdale.org, you know, what the space that they're in, what they're looking for. And also they can also sign up if they're an individual, you know. And by the way, getting back to what you said, Sandy, even though if you don't have a business license and you're not going in that direction to become a CBE or SBE, you certainly can sign up in our directory no matter what. And as an animator, you can also sign up in the directory. So hopefully that answered the question.
Thank you, Sandy Leiderman. We have another question from Fabiola. I'm a nonprofit organization. We produce films and documentaries in order to help kids in risk situations. We also are open to offer training to youth in the areas of pre-production, production, and post-production on our projects. What programs do you have to help us to reach the community and development of our films?
So I'm actually working to bring a couple of different entities together, so which you could join in on, to where creating opportunities for youth. So certainly get in touch with our office, because I'd love to know what you're doing currently and see, because that's something that I didn't speak about, but educating the underserved community, educating our youth, bringing up the next generation to come into this business is really important. To me personally, it's one of my personal goals is to move that forward. And as well, as a lot of people might not know this, but this industry, you don't actually need a college degree to get into. And so sometimes it helps depending on your department, but most of the time you can get in and you can get a job in this industry without having a formal college education. So that helps a bit, but certainly I'd love them to get in touch with us at film@filmlauderdale.org.
Okay, thanks, Sandy. Some of you have been asking where you'll find today's recording and if the copy of the PowerPoint will be available. So we are streaming live on our Broward County OESBD Facebook page. So you will be able to get a recording there, and the PowerPoint, we'll definitely send that via email as well. I have a question here from Chivalry Productions. Good morning, everyone. Hope all is well. My name is Maine. I'm a director and producer of Chivalry Productions. How do I find sponsors for a movie premiere that we are planning to have this winter in Fort Lauderdale, and also sponsors for a new game show we are producing as well?
I think that's a larger conversation that then can be happen on here. So they should just email us and we can see what we can do. Can't, guarantee, finding sponsors, but, I certainly can talk to them about leading them and what direction that might help them.
Okay, so we will continue to post our contact information. So anyone who has additional questions, feel free to send us to that email address there so we could answer in more detail and speak with you one-on-one. So Sandy McDonald, we have a question from Robert asking, can a nonprofit be approved as a CBE? And if so, what are the steps?
They can be, but they're not encouraged to be. Think about it. The things that I described are the things the counties bind. 99% of the things that I'm describing are for-profit organizations because they go through counties' competitive bidding process. Nonprofits do engage in county procurement, but most it happens under the Human Service Department. It's not a requirement to be certified, but some of those nonprofits have gotten certified, but they're not a part of the bids and the things that we review when we set goals. Though they got certified, they're really working up under the Human Service Department, who provides a lot of social service support to county agencies in order to provide it to residents of Broward. So again, yes, you can go to our website, you can complete the application, you can speak to those questions, but for the engagement that we're doing, it's not for non-for-profits. It's really for the for-profits. Or you can just contact the county's human service agency. I would just recommend going to their website, learn more about what they do, learn about their programming, learn about their contracts, learn about their grants support. And if any of those fit what you do as a nonprofit, then go after those.
And Sandy Michael McDonald, we have Scott asking, are tax-paying Broward businesses prioritized over out-of-country businesses for bid solicitations?
So Broward buys from all over the world. Broward buys from all over the county. Broward buys from all over the country. Broward does, on behalf of taxpayers, procurement that's fiscally responsible to Broward County. Through the small business program, we assure that at least 25% of what Broward buys, small businesses are used. So I want to be real clear because a lot of folks ask that question. Just because you're a Broward business does not guarantee you something versus someone in Georgia or someone in Dubai. It does not. Taxpayers' money are going to be spent in a fiscal manner that certainly serves the purpose. But we do see the economic impact. We do see the return on the investment. We do see the promise and the analysis of spending money at home and keeping money at home. That's why at least 25% of what we buy, we do use that as a what you might call a priority. But I just got to be clear about the words. I heard you say tax-paying businesses. My program is about certified small businesses in Broward County. Yep, certified small businesses in Broward County even gets a leg up of over other businesses in Broward County. But no, through procurement code, tax-paying businesses in Broward doesn't automatically get a leg up over businesses in Georgia or Mississippi. In some bids, Broward County procurement offers additional evaluation points because you are a local business. That's the one that you might like. There can be an RFP or a bid on the street that they want your response. And yes, because you are a business in Broward, they got a definition of local-based business. You can get additional evaluation points that the group in Georgia can't get. So just wanted to be clear about that. That's under procurement code.
Sandy, just to chime in there, but when it comes to the 15% currently, right, that we hope to increase as we get more businesses, that's that will be a requirement that they're registered with the small business, right? So you have to be certified.
Yeah,
that I'm not saying that you'll get the job, but there'll be a short list, of unless everybody, signs up today. Right now, we don't have enough. So
Right.
so you have a great opportunity.
I want to be clear, that's the same as my 25%. We currently do that for 25% because they're certified. With Sandy's incentive, there's a 15%. If somebody wants that money, they're going to have to work with certified small businesses. So remember, there's a difference between certified small businesses, me and Sandy, certified, and just a regular business in Broward. A regular business in Broward is still embraced. We still want you to be engaged. There's real opportunities for you. But if they touch Sandy's money, they're going to be looking for 15% at least certified. They're part of the county projects, they're going to be looking for at least 25% certified. So we speak to all of them. My workshops, I have businesses, small businesses, I have businesses and small businesses who are certified. So we always just want to make sure that Broward understands there's opportunities for you because you're here in the county. Yes, there's other opportunities for you simply because you're eligible and you become certified. So definitely make sure you understand certified, because even Sandy L's shop now will be looking for certified in addition to just regular old Broward business. Both are important, but people are going to have to be knocking on both doors.
Thank you, Sandy. We have a question from Rick. What kind of productions are you trying to attract to shoot in Broward?
All different kinds, whether it be small, whether it be big. I mean, we're, anything from photo shoots to television commercials, to documentaries, to feature films, to television series. I mean, we're attracting everything. So I'm looking towards all those different divisions of the industry to, find and bring business here. And by the way, I have to say something, because, we say bringing it here, this program is open to anybody in Broward County, Miami, to anybody, doesn't matter where you are. You're open to this as long as you meet the requirements.
Thank you for clarifying that, Sandy. Sandy McDonald, Daisy wants to know, she's registered as a DBE through OIA. Do I need to register and apply to every county in Florida?
So no. So first of all, you have to help me out. OIA, what's that acronym? Is that Orlando or somebody? What's OIA? But understand this. If you are a DBE in the state of Florida, any UCP like me, Unified Certification Program, Orlando, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, St. Pete. If you're a DBE in the state of Florida by any of them, you're a DBE for the entire state. Nope, you don't need to do it all over again. There's 67 counties in Florida. If you are a DBE in this state anywhere, your DBE opportunities are for the entire state. So the fact that you mentioned you are a DBE at OIA, and I apologize, I don't know that acronym. The fact that you said you're a DBE in Florida, you don't need to do it again with me. You're good to go.
Thanks, Sandy. Sandy Lighterman, Precious wants to know that her business offers natural and organic teas, hair, skin, body care essentials. She's interested in having her products placed in movies, on shows, on the production sets, and she wants to know how would it fit as far as being certified or being in the directory? So I guess that's for both.
So when it comes to being in the directory, absolutely should be in the directory, because if you could be under beauty products, because that will be the beauty supplies, that's a category. And that's important. When it comes to being certified, then if from our point of view, if a production is looking for those kind of products, whether it be, the beauty department or even for display, a lot of times productions will do product placement, right? So they'll reach out and want to do, have something as product placement. That also is where your products can be displayed. So, there's a couple of different categories you could, possibly sign up for, but you still have to, again, you don't have to be a CBE, but if you are registered and with Sandy Shop as a certified business, then when they're looking for that 15%, and they're going to go, oh, well, we can put this in the, to meet that 15%, you could be that business. Sandy, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, the only thing I want to chime in, and again, Sandy L and her team know more about film than I do, but the business acumen is the same. So I do want to use this because this is a good example. This is where the homework comes in. Sandy also mentioned Denise Simmons earlier, who also going to be responsible for her shop for newsletters and email blasts and things like that. As Sandy L and her team begins to bring in more production, and we're sharing that with all of our community and our business partners. It's no different than what Tamika and Outreach does for me. As county agencies are beginning to make procurement, looking to go out for bid, as soon as we know about information, we share it. We share as much as we know whenever we can. Businesses have to value that information. So you just asked the question and was relevant to like product placement. Great question. I don't know right now that someone simply calls Sandy L and say, give me these 10 items. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But what we do know, you want to make sure that you're registered on Sandy's list, as well as certified on our list. You want to make sure your products are actually listed. You do want to follow her website down the road where she started offering opportunities about new productions that are actually coming. And then as a business, because you're not the only one, you then want to try to engage as much as you can to make sure folks know who you are and what you do. But one of those real ways, Sandy L just said it, you and your products need to be listed. So in case a producer do check with her about product placement, hey, we're looking to do A, B, and C. If she has that recorded without favor, she gets to say it. If that's not listed, she gets to say, well, we'll put a notice out there and try to find someone. But if it's already listed, it's listed. I just want everyone to get into the habit of understanding that even with the information that we share now and we'll be sharing in the future, the connectivity comes from the strategy and you doing your homework. You trying to make yourself available. Guys, small businesses love the meet and greets we do, but they know they're an electrician. There's going to be 14 in the room. And this prime contractor has to use 2. Those 14 know they have to say something to this prime that's going to have him or her remember them over the other 12. Our job is to share and provide the opportunities. Businesses still have to introduce themselves in a manner where they can be received. Sandy L's team, like my team, will try as often as possible to create opportunities where your information can be shared. That's what she's talking about this list. You don't want her to remember it off the top of her head, though she could. She's talking about this list because we're going to be sending production folks to this list. But at the end of the day, you definitely always want to find different ways to market and promote yourself. And we often tell small businesses, you want to find different ways to market, promote yourself, and differentiate yourself from others in your industry. I don't want that missed today. That is still going to need to be done, even with film. Yep, Sandy L might come down the road with some extra tips. She said down the road, she's going to get enough interest in different industries, try to bring in an industry expert to do specific workshops. See, that's us making sure we can expose you as much as possible, share information as much as possible. But it's still business in the end, and folks other than us are going to be making business decisions. That's what I would add.
Thank you, Sandy. And that's all the questions that we have today. The other questions require more details. So those we encourage everyone to send us. We have placed the contact information in the chat, so feel free to reach out to us via those mediums. Back to you, Sandy.
So, hey, I'm saying thank you on behalf of our office. I want to thank Sandy and Christine and Denise and her team. Again, guys, they are your resource. They are our resource. Film's not new in Broward. Don't leave here going to tell somebody film's new in Broward. Film's not new in Broward. Film's been around for a long time. Older than me. However, the county commission has decided they want to take it in another level. And we're trying to use Sandy L and her team to do that for us. By placing it in this office means that we're going to do that, but we're going to have some intentional focus on small business. We are going to try to create programming. I heard the nonprofit question earlier, where we can engage our local community. Sandy did come back to remind you, hey, those incentives, don't think we're talking about strangers only. If you're a local producer, you got access to resources, you got funding, and you can shoot a film that fits in these regards, incentives are available to you as well. There's a lot of programming we will eventually do, but right now, we're trying to grow the foundation of film that was here to put activity in place to bring more production because we got more businesses, to increase our businesses, to bring more production. And that's why we wanted to do this today. This was just the first intro to my certified firms. And many of my non-certified firms, this was your first introduction to the film office and the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. So we thank you for coming. Follow-up emails with me at any time about a meeting. Sandy and her shop will tell you about their availability, but that's what we're here for. So I'm done. Sandy L, you get to close it out.
Just wanted to say thanks to everybody for sticking around. I see a lot of people stuck around, some really great questions. And, certainly we're here to answer as much as we can. We might not have the answers, but we will try to find them if we don't know them. So that's all I'm going to say. And we certainly want to help your businesses succeed, especially when it comes to our side of the office here. And that's, in the film and entertainment industry. So thank you very much.
Thank you all. Have a good week.